Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something kind of a new concept.
Absolutely.
And a little bit unsettling, I think, for a lot of people.
It is.
And that is this idea of creative displacement anxiety.
Yes.
We're seeing AI really kind of infiltrate every aspect of our lives.
Right.
And now it's starting to encroach on something that we always felt was uniquely human.
Exactly.
Which is this ability to be creative. And, you know, we see AI-generated art and we hear AI-generated music.
Right.
But there's a whole other level to this that we're going to be exploring today.
Absolutely. And we're diving deep into an academic commentary called Generative Artificial Intelligence and the Emergence of Creative Displacement Anxiety.
Okay, so that's the source material for this deep dive.
Yes.
And that's a mouthful.
It is.
Creative Displacement Anxiety, or CDA.
CDA.
We'll call it CDA for short.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's this anxiety that comes up when we think about AI being able to create things that we thought only humans could create.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just that it can create, it's that it can create at such a high level.
Right.
You know, imagine AI writing a New York Times bestseller or composing a symphony.
Right.
That tops the classical music charts.
Yeah, it's almost like...
It's no longer a question of if AI can do these things, but how we adapt to this new reality.
And I think how we adapt to it without, you know, panicking or freaking out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? But how is this different from other, you know, we've seen a lot of technological advancements throughout history.
Right.
How is this different from, say, like the printing press or...
Well, let's think about the printing press, for example.
Okay.
It revolutionized how we share information.
Yeah.
But it didn't replace the act of writing.
Okay.
Right? Someone still had to write the book.
Right.
Generative AI, on the other hand, can actually write that novel or compose that symphony.
Right.
And a fraction of the time, we're talking about a fundamental shift in how we perceive and interact with creativity itself.
So it's not just about efficiency anymore. It's about AI tapping into something that we, you know, that was previously thought of as like the human spark.
It's really challenging those boundaries of what we thought was uniquely human.
Yeah. And it makes you think like, well, where do we fit in if AI can do all this stuff?
Yeah. And this goes straight to the heart of why CDA is such a powerful phenomenon.
Okay.
For the first time, technology is directly interacting with our need for self-actualization.
Oh, okay.
That top tier of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh, wow.
You know?
So like the need to express ourselves.
To create.
Yeah, to feel accomplished.
Yeah, to feel a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, and I think about, you know, when you create something, you get that feeling of like, oh, I made this.
I tried.
You know, and there's a pride that comes with that. But if AI can also make it, does that feeling diminish somehow?
Yes, really.
You know.
Interesting question. And, you know, just think about the speed at which people have adopted AI.
Okay.
ChatGPT reached 1 million users in just 5 days.
Wow.
Compare that to Instagram, which took 3.5 months.
Oh, wow.
Or Facebook, which took 10 months.
Yeah, that's a crazy fast.
It's totally fast.
Adoption rate. It's like people couldn't wait to get their hands on it.
Exactly.
But what does that tell us about?
It shows a huge appetite for AI-generated content.
Oh.
And it hints at the sheer volume of creative output that AI is capable of.
Okay.
We're already seeing AI-generated images exceeding the number of photographs taken in 150 years.
This is unprecedented.
Yeah, that's wild.
We've never seen technology that can create at this scale and speed before.
So it's like this floodgate has opened, and now we're just being inundated with AI.
Content.
Yeah.
And it's not just about art or music either.
Yeah.
We're seeing AI demonstrate abilities that were once considered markers of human intelligence.
For example, did you know that GPT-4 scored in the 95th percentile on the SAT?
Wow.
This is a standardized test
designed
to measure human cognitive abilities, and AI is acing it.
I mean, that's kind of intimidating.
It is.
Like, imagine if you took the SAT and AI got a higher score than you.
Right.
Like, that's a pretty...
It really challenges our assumptions.
Yeah.
About what it means to be intelligent.
But how does all of this tie back to this creative displacement anxiety? Like, what are some of the, like, you know, anxieties that people are facing?
Let's break it down into two perspectives.
Okay.
The creators and the consumers.
Okay.
Creators, those who make art, music, literature, are understandably feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
They're facing anxieties that are unique to this moment in time.
Okay.
The fear of being replaced, for example, is a major concern.
Yeah, I can definitely see, like, if AI can write a hit song, what happens to musicians?
Right.
If it can design a stunning building, what happens to architects?
Exactly. And it's like, then there's imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
If you're an artist using AI tools, do you even feel like a real artist?
That's a really...
Does creating with AI provide the same sense of fulfillment, that same cathartic experience as traditional methods?
Yeah, it makes you question, like, what is creativity? You know, is it about the process?
Right.
Is it about the tools, or is it about something deeper?
Right.
And can AI even tap into that?
And that's where it gets really complex.
Yeah.
You know, the commentary lists a range of emotional, cognitive, and behavioral responses associated with CDA.
Okay.
We're seeing increased anxiety and worry among creatives, a sense of inadequacy, and a fear that their work is no longer valuable.
I bet there's a lot of self-doubt creeping in, too.
Absolutely. Like, if AI can do it better and faster,
yeah,
what's the point of even trying?
What's the point?
And that can lead to decreased motivation and even skills atrophy.
Oh, wow.
Where artists stop honing their craft because they're relying too heavily on AI tools. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's like a vicious cycle. You know, the fear leads to the avoidance, which leads to, a decline in skills, and then creates more fear.
And this isn't just limited to professional artists either.
Okay.
Think about anyone who finds joy in creative pursuits.
Right.
Whether it's writing, painting, playing music, designing, or even just coming up with creative solutions to everyday problems.
Yeah.
How do you feel knowing that AI can now do those things too?
Right. It really makes you think. And, you know, I think that's a question we all need to be asking ourselves, because the truth is, this is impacting all of us, whether we realize it or not.
Absolutely. But the purpose of this deep dive isn't to fearmonger. Right. It's to understand the challenges so we can find solutions and adapt to this new creative landscape.
Okay, so we've talked about the anxieties from the creators.
Right.
What about the people who are consuming this?
Yes. That's a great point.
Creative work. So, you know, the listeners, the readers, the viewers.
That's where we'll pick up.
How does this impact them?
In part 2 of our deep dive.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So we've been talking about creative displacement anxiety, and, you know, it's clear that AI's impact on creativity is, you know, causing some pretty big changes. But before we get too, you know, stuck in the fear, I'm curious to kind of explore the other side of the coin. Like, how can we adapt and even thrive in this new creative world?
I think that's a great question. And, you know, the commentary that we're discussing actually offers some really interesting insights into just that. And I think one of the most important points they make is the importance of education.
Oh, okay. So knowledge is power in this case. Like, the more we understand about AI and its limitations, the less threatened we'll feel by it.
Exactly. You know, when we demystify AI, we can start to see it for what it truly is, which is a tool.
Okay.
A very powerful tool.
Yeah.
But a tool nonetheless.
Right.
It's not this mysterious force that's going to magically, you know, like suck away our creative energy.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we go about demystifying AI? I mean, it seems like such a complex and rapidly evolving field.
It can feel overwhelming. I agree. But, you know, there are so many resources available to help us understand how AI, particularly generative AI, actually works.
Okay.
You know, think online courses, articles, even just, you know, engaging in conversations with people who are knowledgeable about AI.
So it's about being proactive, right? Like taking the initiative to learn and to kind of peel back the layers and understand what's really going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. It's like, you know, learning how a car engine works.
Right.
You might not need to be a mechanic to drive, but having that knowledge can certainly make you feel more confident behind the wheel.
That's a great analogy. And I think, you know, the more we understand about how these AI models work and, you know, how they generate stuff, the less likely we are to feel threatened by it. You know, we can start to see the possibilities, the ways that we can actually use it to enhance our own creativity rather than, you know, thinking that we need to compete with it.
Exactly. And this reminds me of a quote I read recently, and it said, "The best way to predict the future is to invent it."
I love that.
And I think that really applies here. You know, instead of fearing the future of creativity, maybe we need to focus on shaping it. And that leads us to another really important concept: collaboration.
Okay.
So instead of viewing AI as a competitor, what if we embraced it as a creative partner?
So from AI versus human to AI and humans.
Exactly.
I like that.
Working together and, you know, just imagine the possibilities AI could help us brainstorm ideas, overcome creative blocks, Even handle those kind of tedious tasks that drain our energy.
Yeah, all that boring stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Think of AI as like a superpowered assistant,
Right?
freeing us up to focus on the most fulfilling and inspiring aspects of our work.
That's a really nice way to frame it. It's not about surrendering our creative control, but rather using it to amplify our strengths
Exactly.
and push us, further than maybe we thought we could go.
Yes, and consider the potential for feedback and insights. You know, AI can analyze our work in ways that we might not be able to,
Oh, okay.
offering new perspectives and helping us see our creations with fresh eyes.
It's like having a built-in editor or a critic, but one that's totally objective and unbiased. That could be
Exactly.
really valuable.
It could be incredibly valuable, especially for those who are, really looking to grow and evolve as creators.
Yeah.
And speaking of evolution,
Right.
it's important to remember that humans are remarkably adaptable creatures.
Yeah, that's true. We've been through a lot.
We've navigated technological revolutions before,
Yeah,
and we've always found ways to not just survive, but thrive.
right.
The key is to approach this shift with intention and agency.
So it's about making conscious choices about how we interact with AI rather than letting it just, dictate our creative process.
Exactly. We need to be discerning about how we use AI tools, setting boundaries where necessary, and making sure that, we're not sacrificing our own authenticity in the process.
It's like a mindfulness practice almost, like paying attention to how we're feeling, noticing the impact that AI is having on our creative process, and then making conscious decisions about how we want to, integrate this technology into our lives.
That's a beautiful way to think about it. Mindfulness can be such a powerful tool for navigating this new landscape.
Hmm?
It helps us stay grounded, present, and in control of our own creative destiny.
Yeah, I love that. So we've got education, we've got collaboration, we've got mindfulness, this idea of personal agency.
Hmm.
Are there any other strategies that kind of come to mind as you think about navigating this, AI-powered creative world?
Yes. One more that I think is really relevant is the importance of community and connection.
Okay.
One of the kind of insidious aspects of CDA is that it can lead to these feelings of isolation.
Yeah.
Creators might feel like they're competing with machines, while consumers might feel increasingly detached from the art they're consuming.
So it's like everyone's retreating into their own little silos. The artists are feeling threatened by AI. The audiences are feeling overwhelmed with all this AI content.
Exactly. And that's where the need for human connection becomes so crucial.
Okay.
We need to build bridges,
Mm-hmm.
create spaces where we can share our experiences, support each other, and learn from each other.
So finding those real world connections, right? Like reminding ourselves that we're not alone in this.
Absolutely.
Whether it's through online communities or workshops or just getting together with friends and talking about art and creativity.
Yes, those human bonds are essential.
Yeah.
And when we cultivate that sense of community, we build resilience, both individually and collectively.
We realize we're all in this together.
We are.
And by sharing, our struggles and our insights and our hopes for the future, we can create something truly remarkable.
Exactly. We can ensure that AI becomes a force for good in the realm of creativity, a catalyst for innovation, and a tool that empowers us to express ourselves in ways we never even thought possible.
So how do we get there? Like, what's the next step?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious and open-minded.
Okay.
The field of AI is constantly evolving, so, we need to be lifelong learners, always asking questions and embracing new ways of thinking about creativity and AI's role in our lives.
So stepping outside of our comfort zones, challenging our assumptions, being willing to adapt as, things continue to change.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about clinging to the past, but rather embracing the possibilities that lie ahead and remembering that the future of creativity is something we create,
Yeah.
not something that's imposed upon us.
I love that that's a really empowering thought.
It is.
It leaves me feeling kind of optimistic and excited about what this new era of creativity holds.
That's exactly the spirit we need to carry forward.
Yeah.
It's not about fearing the unknown, but rather embracing it with a sense of wonder and possibility.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've gone from understanding the anxieties of CDA to exploring these practical strategies for adaptation and even reframing our relationship with AI as a whole. But what are some of the key takeaways you'd like listeners to ponder as we wrap up this part of the conversation?
I think the most important message is that the future of creativity is not predetermined.
Okay.
It's something we're actively shaping,
Mm.
and the choices we make today
Yeah.
will have a profound impact on the creative landscape of tomorrow.
That's a powerful reminder that we have a voice.
We do.
that we have agency, and we can use both to ensure that AI, becomes a force for good in the creative world.
Absolutely. And I believe that by working together,
Yeah.
by embracing innovation and by staying true to our own creative spirits, we can create a future where AI and human ingenuity not only coexist, but thrive.
I love that that's a beautiful sentiment to end on. So we've delved into the challenges, we've explored the possibilities, and now it's time to put these insights into action.
Yeah.
In part 3 of our deep dive, we're going to explore the even bigger picture.
Yes.
What does all of this mean for the future of human creativity, and what steps can we take to ensure that technology serves humanity rather than the other way around?
Really important questions.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Duck Dive. We've been exploring this fascinating and sometimes unsettling intersection of AI and creativity. We've talked about the anxieties, the challenges, and even some inspiring ways that we can, adapt and thrive in this new world. But now I want to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Like, what does this all mean for the future of human creativity?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I think one thing that's really important to remember is that we're not passive observers in this technological revolution. We're active participants. We're shaping the future, not just of AI, but how AI and human creativity will evolve together.
So it's not about, AI taking over. It's more about what we do with AI.
Exactly. The choices we make about what we create, how we use AI, the boundaries we set, those are going to shape not just our individual creative pursuits, but the entire cultural landscape. Think about how the printing press revolutionized access to information and led to these huge societal shifts.
Right.
We're at a similar inflection point with AI. It has the potential to really change how we create, share, and experience art, music, literature, and so much more.
It's like we're holding this incredibly powerful tool, and we're still trying to figure out how to use it responsibly, ethically,
I love that analogy.
in a way that benefits humanity.
Yeah, because it really highlights that technology is not deterministic. It doesn't have some predetermined outcome. It's up to us to guide its development, to ask the tough questions, and to make sure that it's used in ways that align with our values.
So it's like we're kind of writing the rules of the game as we go along.
In a way, yes.
Which is a lot of responsibility, but also really exciting.
Absolutely.
It means we have this opportunity to shape the future, to create a world where AI empowers creativity rather than diminishing it.
I completely agree.
So how do we do that? What are the concrete steps we can take individually and collectively to make sure that happens?
I think it starts with really understanding AI, and not just the technical how-tos, but also the potential implications. We need to be having these open and honest conversations about the ethical considerations, the potential biases, the risks, but also the amazing opportunities.
So having those difficult conversations even when they feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. Because there are no easy answers here. It's complex, it's nuanced, and it requires us to be thoughtful and engaged.
And it's going to take a village, right? We need everyone. Artists, scientists, policymakers, ethicists, educators, even everyday people all working together.
Absolutely. It's not about one group dictating the rules. It's a collective effort to ensure that AI is used to benefit all of humanity.
So what can our listeners do? How can they get involved and be a part of this?
We'll start by learning about AI. Read articles, listen to podcasts, take some online courses, stay informed about what's happening, and engage in conversations about the ethical and societal implications.
And we'll definitely link to some resources in the show notes for anyone who wants to dive deeper.
Perfect.
But it's not just about staying informed, right? It's about taking action.
Absolutely. Support organizations that are advocating for responsible AI development and talk to your friends and family about these issues. Write to your elected officials. Even small actions can make a difference.
Use your voice.
Exactly.
However you can to make sure AI becomes a force for good in the world.
I love that.
Because the future of creativity, it's not something that's happening to us.
Right.
It's something we're creating every single day with the choices that we make.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And, I'm incredibly optimistic about what we can achieve when we approach this new era with a sense of wonder, a willingness to collaborate, and, that deep commitment to our shared humanity.
That's beautiful. And it leaves me feeling hopeful and inspired and ready to embrace whatever this future holds. Because I think if AI can teach us anything, it's that the limits of creativity are far beyond what we can even imagine.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Let's keep those creative wheels turning, both human and AI. And let's build a future where technology helps us to express ourselves in even more amazing ways.